Yes, in all, up to 20,000 jobs could be lost at Britain's airports. That's according to an industry group. The Airport Operators Association, which represents more than 50 airports, is calling on the government to do more to help aviation, saying that the current quarantine rules are adding to difficulties.
Well, as one of the world's busiest airports, Heathrow is also a massive employer in part of London it calls home, and thousands of those jobs are at risk. The airport's chief executive says the government's 14-day quarantine rules for inbound travellers means efforts to protect frontline jobs at the airport are no longer sustainable, and a voluntary redundancy scheme has been launched. Many more supply chain jobs in the borough of Hounslow are also at risk.
So how is the local authority responding to the challenge of helping people stay in work? I've been taking a look. It feels like a lifetime ago. Before COVID hit, Heathrow was in its heyday, the busiest airport in Europe by passenger traffic, second in the world. Last year was its biggest ever, more than 80 million travellers. Now, it's more like a ghost town. In April and May, passenger numbers down 97%. With capacity unlikely to rise soon, Heathrow's chief executive says layoffs are inevitable and that the government's 14-day quarantine rule for arriving passengers is making things worse.
If we know that there's a plan to get out of this, then we can make the right decisions to protect jobs and the livelihoods of millions of Britons. But if we don't, then we're going to be making cautious decisions which will have a devastating impact on millions of people across this country. We risk having this health pandemic becoming an unemployment pandemic.
The airport has around 7,000 employees, and baggage handlers, security staff, engineers and many more face uncertain futures. But the ripple effects will be felt much further. Heathrow sits here in the West London borough of Hounslow. The local council says that around 45,000 people in this part of the capital are employed by the airport, either directly or by its massive supply chain network. In April, unemployment benefit claims here exceeded 10,000, up 52% from March. And government forecasts predict a 40% drop in economic activity in the borough. This small catering company near Heathrow saw its business drastically cut overnight as clients at or near the airport cancelled events.
We were heading towards our best year and literally within 4 weeks it went to nothing, absolutely nothing, no trade whatsoever.
Ian's usual team of 9 chefs is down to 1, the rest furloughed. Catering for hospitals has kept things ticking over. Now he's planning to spend more than $30,000 on devising COVID-friendly menus.
I've never seen this in my entire career, never. Never. There's been bad times when we've had recessions and various events that happen around the world, but we can normally work our way around those kind of issues. But this is totally out of our control.
Hounslow Council is trying to take control where it can. Its community hub here helping thousands of vulnerable residents with food care packs. Also in motion, an emergency plan to re-skill unemployed residents and draw green economy jobs to the area.
All that is now, I think, will be accelerated so we can try and attract new businesses, new innovation, new ways of working into Hounslow to pick up that gap left by the recession in the airline industry.
Learning to adapt, something not only airports, airlines and passengers must do. Whole communities are bracing for a bumpy ride, possibly for years to come.